Hey everyone in chemistry land, welcome to lecture 5, the final lecture for unit 4, chemical equilibrium. This is going to be a shorter one. We're just going to look at a few things and then I'm going to give out an assignment for practice. So lecture 5, and I'm going to just paraphrase a few things from page 25, expand on a little bit in your booklet. So we're going to look at graphing some processes here. So I'm going to write the same one in the middle of page 24. All gas phase. I got 2 NO2 goes to N2O4. So let's say that is at equilibrium. What else are we told here? That it is an exothermic process. Great. So I'm going to draw this graph here. It's a concentration versus time. That's very good straight lines, isn't it? Concentration in units of moles per liter, capital M, versus time in units of, it doesn't tell us, does it? Fine, I'll use minutes. So I have 0 on the left, 2 on the right, 1 in the middle, and I have 0.02 as the top of the y-axis, 0.01 as the midpoint, and so NO2 is at equilibrium, nice straight horizontal line, and N2O4 is around 0.015 maybe, and that's also a straight horizontal line. So that means that both NO2 and N2O4's concentration are not changing with time, so that is at equilibrium. So we're starting this graph with NO2 and N2O4 both at equilibrium. Then we decide to spike the system. That means we quickly charge the system at equilibrium with some NO2. So the NO2 goes up very steep, and then Le Chatelet's principle says, well, it has to, okay, that's supposed to be straight going across. It has to have some reacting with other NO2s, because Le Chatelet says, I don't like that the system was stressed by having NO2 added in, so I'm going to try to get rid of it. It can't get rid of all of it, it just gets rid of a small amount. In the meantime, N2O4 just increases and then levels off. So here we could say we have got to the second equilibrium, EQ2. We're beginning with EQ1. And that's really what graphing is. There's something about a marathon problem. I'm not going to bother with that now. But here's graphing. Let's make up another graph on the fly here. So I'm going to go to File, New, 20. No, let's go to 13. Let's go to Cancel here. One more time. File, New. Okay. And I don't want that. I want my canvas size to be 13 by 8. There we go. Okay, went into some weird territory there. Let's say I had H2 plus I2 goes to 2HI, all gas phase. Let's say initially we had 3 of these, 5 of these, and 1 of HI. And then change, let's say you lost a half of this and a half of this, and so you would have gained 1 of the HI, right? And so then at my first equilibrium, I'd have 2.5 of H2, 4.5 of I2, and 2 of HI. And you could get KEQ from that, couldn't you? Now let's spike it. So now I'll have, start to look at the second equilibrium, the original amount. Let's say I dumped in, suppose this was all in 1 liter. Let's say I dumped in 1 mole of hydrogen. So that would become 3.5. I don't change H2, so it's 4.5. I don't change HI, so it's 2. Now let's let them react. I guess I can put little ones here. And let's just say 0.2 was lost. So I lose 0.2 of the one that I put in, the 1-to-1 ratio. I lose 0.2 of that, and this is 0.2, 0.2, and I'd gain 0.4 of HI. So my second equilibrium would be 3.3, 4.3, and 2.4. So you see that the iodine, this little arrow work here. No, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go to this one here. That just changes the whole thing, doesn't it? Okay, so go back. There you go. The iodine goes from 5 to 4.5. Then you spiked with hydrogen, loses another 0.2, so it goes to 4.3. The hydrogen goes from 3 to 2.5. You spike it with 3.5, you lose 0.2, so it goes to 3.3. So you see that you have not gotten rid of all the stuff you've added. The HI still keeps going up. So if I draw a graph of all this, I'll go here 0. This is molarity concentration. So my hydrogen, let's see, what should we do here? 3, 2, 1, 1.5. I mean, if you want, use a ruler to be a show off. So hydrogen goes from 3 down to 2.5. So I'm going to draw that. 3 down to 2.5, and then it levels off. Okay, so I'm going to make that equilibrium 1. And that is my hydrogen. My iodine goes from 5. Oh, I got to go way up to 5, don't I? Okay. 3, 4, 5. It goes from 5 down to 4.5. So that's my iodine. 5 down to 4.5. And then levels off. Okay, so that's 4.5. And that's 4. Oh, see, that was sneaky, wasn't it? Okay, so that is my iodine. And so they're going off. The HI started with 1 and went up to 2. So go 1, and then goes up to 2, and then levels off. So what's that? That's my HI. Okay, so now I'm going to spike. I'm going to spike the system by dumping in some hydrogen. I dumped in 1, didn't I? So it goes from 2.5 to 3.5 really quickly. Just zoom, spike up there. Okay, and then it goes down to 3.2, so a little bit down, and then levels off. Okay, so that's equilibrium 2. The iodine goes from 4.5 over here, and it goes down a little bit to 4.3, and then it levels off. And the HI went from 2 against 0.4 to go from 2.4, and then it levels off. So that is a graphical representation. I'm not going to ask you to draw a graph on a test, but you should be able to interpret how these graphs work. So that's really the chapter. I'm going to do a new window here. I don't need to maintain the aspect ratio. 70 inches, whoa, that will be a big canvas, wouldn't it? 11 by 8. Good. Okay, so what have we learned in our lectures involving equilibrium? We started by just looking at the definitions and the requirements for equilibrium. Then we looked at the equilibrium constant expressions. ice diagrams, Le Chatelier principle, and now it's time for practice, because that's what it was. In terms of practicing, the worksheet which will be most close to the test is on page 45 to 48, which is the red worksheet, because there was a time when it was printed in red. And then Big Ben on page 26 to 28 is a good one to do. Again, all the answer keys are in our website, and I even put them on Edsby. And Dolphin on page 31 to 32 is another good one to do. Now, there's a bunch of others in there. There's Lilac, there's Sapphire. You can do those other ones if you want. There's one just called the green one. But if you can do these ones, you'll be doing fine. Now, the question, of course, is what's going to be for marks? So, I am going to send you through Edsby one called Melon. It's also on the website. So, it is how many? 35 multiple choice questions. Some of you might actually have this as a hard copy. If you do, send me an Edsby message that you do, because I'm pretty sure I gave it, though I know the last day or two not everyone is around. So it's on the website. If you need it, let me know. I will, though, attach it to Edsby so you'll have it again. So 35 multiple choice questions. Now this time I want you to have the first sheet will be just a list with the answers. But then I want at least one more sheet bundled in there, which is showing me some work. I mean, I don't need tons of detail, but at least one sheet where you've done some work. I think that's a fair thing to ask. So I will give you starting dates and end dates in April 7th or April 8th for this. But this is just a bit of a heads up that that's the quiz that you want to get going on. Okay, have fun with that.